Relaks Radio.
Oh, Relax Radio.
Hey, this is Sonic Szilvi. Welcome to the show. Today I'm gonna have a chat with one of my friends about cats. This is gonna be all about cats. He is the biggest cat lover I know. His name is Ken, and he's a fellow musician and also has a blog, a music review blog. But I think his number one passion is cats, actually. So I thought we're gonna talk about cats because it's lockdown and many people are at home and maybe you're sitting at home right now with your cat on your lap or many cats and maybe you're gonna join in and comment a little bit. If you're a cat lover, please send a comment and I'm gonna try to see them. I'm really new to this, so please forgive me if I don't answer right away or don't read your comment, but I'm gonna try my best. Okay. So right now I'm still waiting on Ken, and so I guess I'm just gonna get started. I hope he's gonna show up very soon. I just found out he was taking a nap, and I almost missed the show. So cats. So I hope there are cat lovers out there who are listening to the show. And so I myself had a lot of cats. Right now I just have one cat, and her name is Dark Gray. And I know that's not really the most creative name for a cat, but I was there when the mom gave birth, which was also my cat. And the babies kept coming out and coming out, and I just had to name him real fast. So the first thing I saw, I named him, and she was really dark gray, so that's how I named her temporarily at that time. But then it just got stuck, and I never renamed her. So yeah, her name is Dark Gray, and yeah, she's the only one left. I had many cats who unfortunately were outdoor cats, and they either just went away. Some of them I never found, and some of them were hit by cars. That's really sad and tragic. And yeah, that's always like people are like, some people just want to have indoor cats for that reason. Some people have only outdoor cats, and some do both. I personally did both. So whenever my cats wanted to go out, I was like, okay, like I let you out. You belong outdoors too. They like to climb trees and not being able to come down afterwards, right? Which is really funny. I actually have a story about that, and I really hope Ken will join me so we can share stories. But my story is that actually it was Dark Gray who climbed up a tree, and well, that's not really a funny story. I think many of you experienced that. And Dark Gray couldn't come down, and she was like really way up, on a tree, and so I had to call the firefighters. So actually, like the firefighter story, you call the firefighters and they get their cat down, and they did. And that was in Colorado when I lived in Colorado. And when I moved here to Portland, I went for a walk, and I heard a cat meow, on a really tall tree. Here we have super tall trees in the Pacific Northwest. And I look up, and there was this tiny kitten, way up on this gigantic tree, and and I tried calling the cat and whatever, and there was no way. So I called the firefighters, and here they didn't. They said, no, we don't do that. We don't rescue cats here. So that was kind of disappointing, right? So yeah, so that's that story. So so right now, like I said, I have just this one cat, and I would like to know what you actually prefer. So if you want to comment, do you let your cats out or not, or what's your opinion on that? So My cat. So I personally think the reason I let my cats out, or did let my cats out, is because I don't really like them destroying stuff in the house, and in my opinion, they destroy stuff when you don't let them out, because outside they can like go wild and scratch on trees and do their thing, whereas when they only indoor cats, then you know they kind of need to do that stuff. They need to like um do their claws, like de-sharpen the claws or whatever they do. And Hi, hi, Rock Drill. How are you? Oh, I saw a message. I'm so awesome. Yeah. Um, yeah. So hi, Tanzila. Hi there, Sonic Szilvi. Enjoying your show. Thanks for sharing funny stories with us. Yeah, I'm trying my best. I'm waiting for my friend, because it's always easier to talk with somebody, but you guys can just talk to me. I just talk to you guys, like, no, forget about Ken. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna forget about Ken. But yeah, I actually have another funny story while we're waiting on Ken. So let's see. What was that funny story? I just forgot about it. But yeah, I have several funny stories. So I'm remembering that funny story. Oh yeah, so I'm a hypnotherapist. Okay, so one of my profession is that I'm a hypnotherapist, and one of my specialties is phobias, fear and phobias, right? And so I did my hypnotherapy from my home. Okay, that's really funny. It's actually, I'm ashamed, but really funny. Hey Ken, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, a little groggy, but I'm pulling it together and I'm really happy to be here.
Welcome to the show. I'm just actually, let me restart the story. I'm just sharing a funny cat story. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a hypnotherapist, as I just said, and one of my specialties fear and phobias. And I did my practice from my home at the time, and I had this appointment with a lady who was cat phobic, right? And
Oh, really? I've never heard of that before.
and I had a cat at home, right? So I'm like, okay, but I had a bi-level house, So, and I was telling my kid whose room was upstairs. I'm like, okay, I'm getting a client. Oh, there's the kitty.
That's
so
one. That's Finn.
so so I told my kid that I'm getting a client. A client is coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he should get the cat in his room and lock the door and not let the cat out, because this is a cat phobic lady, right? You
Right.
already know where the story is going. You guys know where the story is going, okay?
A cat
anyway,
will not accept that kind of boundary that you just tried to lay down.
Of course,
They
but
are emperors and empresses of this world, and you cannot lock them. You can't put baby in a corner.
Yeah, but my son was there, and I'm thinking, okay, my son is there, and and he can like take care of the cat while I'm having this client. So anyway, I start with the client and everything. So the way I do it, first I'm having a consultation with the client to talk and whatever before the procedure begins, right? And so we were at the talking stage, and then my son opens the door, and the cat runs out and down the stairs straight to the room where we're gonna have the session. And my client, of course, freaks out, and I'm thinking, oh no, I'm like, this is the most unprofessional thing I have ever done. Okay. It's so unprofessional.
This wasn't exposure therapy. That was not the goal.
Have you seen that episode with Frasier? Are you familiar with Frasier, right?
I'm familiar with Frasier, not familiar enough that I know all the episodes or remember. I think it's been, 17, 18 years.
Oh, I don't know how many people know Frasier here who are watching or listening, but there is an episode on Frasier which is very, very similar with the clown, okay? And it is absolutely hilarious. So whoever watches Frasier, they know what I'm talking about. So it was kind of like exactly the same thing where Frasier totally messed up, and exposed the clown phobic client to clown, and she totally freaks out. It's absolutely hilarious. But
That's funny.
yeah, but that's basically what happened to me. So that was a super funny thing. But of course, I never seen my client again, right? So
That was the last session.
that was the first and the last session. I mean, I understand, and I mean, but you know what? If Frasier can mess up, so can I. So I'm not feeling too bad.
Exactly. Exactly. It could happen to anyone. And as we said before, that's just not a situation that a cat will accept. They will not allow you to decide for them who they are and aren't allowed to meet.
Yeah, that's true, of course, because they're the boss, right?
Exactly.
You're just a
Exactly.
servant. When you have cats, you're just a servant, and you need to accept that. And I'm joking with
Yes.
my neighbor all the time. I have a neighbor here, and I do cat sitting for her when she's out of town. And I always
Mhm.
joke with her. I'm like, "So how is your boss doing?" Or "How is your queen doing?" or something like that. And she knows right away who I'm talking about, because she accepts her place as a servant for her cat.
Exactly. It's funny. We all the time I make the joke that I'll refer to our cats as, who is my beautiful, perfect boy this morning? Who is my prince among earth? And, to the girls, who is my gorgeous empress? And this, land is before you. And I'll say things like this. And then they act like assholes. And we wonder why, you know? We're the ones who have planted this idea in their heads and then, get surprised when they turn around and cop an attitude.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we kind of encourage that behavior in a way, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Right. So tell me about you real quick. How many cats do you have? What are their names? Just let the listener know that you actually have experience with cats. Prove it.
Quite a bit. Yep, we have 3 cats, and the first one was Kappa. And Kappa is the unholy spawn of a one-eyed alley cat and a purebred Siamese. And she's the most beautiful cat you could ever imagine, and the meanest attitude. She's the one who, like, we have to warn when people come over. She's an old lady now, so she's calmed down a little bit, but she is one of those that we'd have to put a sign on the door that would say, I know you think you're a cat person. I mean, but do not try and pet this cat because she will take your arm off at the elbow. I mean, she is, yeah, like sent people to the hospital, literally.
Oh my goodness.
Um,
Wow.
but to me, she's the cat that I feel like it matters the most to me because it took me probably 8 years to earn her affection. She loves Rachel and would be sweet to her, would cuddle to her. But if anybody, including me, would try and pet her, no, she would tear them apart. Now, after about 8 years, it got to the point where she accepted me, where I can pet her and hold her and like, and it's the most precious thing in the world because I'll sit there, like, people will come over and I'll be petting her. You don't know, this is the softest cat you've ever pet. You can't pet her. I can pet her.
You can never
That's why I am
experience
special.
it.
Exactly. I tease people with it now because I have the holy power. Exactly. Um,
Guess what
and
I
then
think?
after, exactly. And after Kappa came Finn, and he's our boy, and he is huge. He's not like just fat, he's big and sturdy all over, like one of those that he'll get excited, he'll come running into me and smash into my leg and take a leg out from underneath me. But he's a black and white tuxedo. Actually, he's the one that Rachel just brought in for a second
Yeah,
on my shoulder.
yeah.
And then the baby is Freya, and she is kind of the opposite end of the spectrum from Krappa. She is the sweetest, most loving to anybody. We'll just run into anybody, jump up on them, and start purring and whipping her tail around and nuzzling your fit. She's the only cat I've ever met that likes to kiss on the mouth she'll come running up to you and put her head here and start purring just because she sat on your lap and like gets excited. And then she'll come and start puckering and go up by your face and want to like kiss your face and kiss your mouth. And yeah, she's something else. And she's my cat that we talked about. We did the benefit for last year because she lost her leg because she got cancer.
Right.
And
I remember that.
yeah, and she had an operation though, and it's
kept cheering you up, remember? Because you
I
were
do.
like totally destroyed, and I was like, "No, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay." And you're like, "I don't believe it, Sylvie," but I'm like, "It's gonna be okay," and she's okay now. So
she is. She's doing great. It was a really rough time though, and it was amazing that I had all of these musicians from Sounds and Shadows that I work with and review step up and do the benefit CD, album, compilation album, and put it together to help offset the costs of the operation. And she got her operation and she's doing amazing. I never would have guessed in my wildest dreams that she would bounce back the way she did. Because, yeah, that was part of it, too. Even if she had the operation, what if she got sick again? Or what if she wasn't the same? Because, the sweetest, most caring, wonderful creature in the world. But who knows? You lose a leg. That's a traumatic experience. And I just didn't know what that was going to mean. And she is her amazing, cheery, wonderful self. So yeah, that's a great story of the perseverance that cats have.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, she's a young cat, right? Correct? How old is she?
Yeah, she's only 3.
Yeah, so first of all, her age, she's young, and
Sure.
cats have 9 lives, right?
It's true. It's true.
As a cat person,
I do know that, but it was one of those things where it wasn't about her. It was my anxiety of just not knowing what this was going to mean for her, or if she was going to be in constant pain or something afterwards. And I'll tell you, it's not like she became the lazy cat or she lays around. We brought her home, and after a couple weeks, she was jumping on stuff, running up stuff, because it's one of her back legs too. She can chase Finn all over the house, up and down the stairs, up and down the basement, and still wrestles around with him. And because now her back leg is like giant, muscular, beefy leg on the back because it's the only one. And so it's kind of like her super one leg now that she hops all over the place on. So
kind of like a kangaroo, huh?
Yeah, it does. It looks like a kangaroo, or like Barry Sanders, I always say, because I met him once. He was a football player, a pro football player, and he had the biggest legs I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, I always tease Freya that she has a Barry Sanders leg.
Yeah, but it's adaptation. I mean, they just bounce back because they adapt, and also like if I'm gonna make this comparison. That when people have certain injuries where they lose a limb or can't walk or whatever, have some sort of disability through because of a trauma or something like that, they usually they appreciate life much more, and they appreciate what can be done, and often they do more things than people who never had any injuries. You know what I'm saying? Like they run marathons and stuff like that, and because they know that it's even more important here. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's
it's your perspective.
Same thing, because she knows, oh, I have one less leg, but I'm gonna live it up even more now than before because of the fact, and that's a good attitude to have. It's a good attitude to have, to always live life to the fullest. So we should listen to our cats and take an example on that, right?
I always try and listen to my cat in all matters. Sometimes I'll get the 3 of them together when I have a big decision to make, so that they can all scream at me and give me their personal opinion.
Like at a round table and stuff, like a conference, a cat conference.
Yeah, or like my version of a tarot card. reading. I'll sit down and let my goddess cats scream at me what they feel the direction of my life might be, like an oracle, and then I'll know how to proceed. And usually it involves opening a can of wet food for them. But I mean, sometimes it's other answers that they give. But yeah, I would say that was 90% of the answer they gave, was that I should pet them and give them wet food. Yeah.
That's awesome. So do you have like a thing for each cat, so this cat means this and this cat means that, and then how do you do it, how they move, or if they answer, or what?
No, they'll talk to me. They'll let me know. They will scream forth their either acceptance or displeasure when I ask a question.
Oh, see, this is like this.
Kappa in particular, this is her favorite game. If Mia will sit her down and I'll be like, I don't know, like I'm thinking about it at work. I want to communicate with this guy, but I'm just not sure what I should. Meow! Okay, maybe I shouldn't continue with that communication. Maybe instead, I should give some time to reflect on this, and then she'll headbutt me, and I'm like, okay, all right, I understand. That's good advice, Kappa. I'm going to think about this for a while.
Okay. Let me stop you real quick. We have to take a short break. We'll be right back. Okay. Stay tuned in. I guess. Or maybe not.
Relax Radio.
Hey, welcome back. We are here. I'm here with Ken, and we're talking cats. And Ken was just talking about his very own cat tarot replacement thing, whatever.
Yes, yes.
Something. And before you continue, I just had a greatest idea. When you told me this, because I'm actually designing my own tarot set right now. Well.
Ooh,
for the past
that's
2
cool.
years, for the past, it's a really long thing, especially when you're not a great artist, which is me. I'm an okay artist, but definitely not like Bob Ross, But anyway, when you told me this scenario, oh, you know what? You're going to be on my tarot cards. That thing is going to be there, a male figure is going to be you with cats. I'm going to somehow do that. I'm going to do it.
That's wonderful.
Amazing idea. But anyway, continue. So basically, you have a scenario,
Mhm.
and then you ask your cats, and then they respond to you, and then you're like, okay.
And kind of like the three fates in Greek myth, they don't always agree with each other, and I kind of have the three levels, like the crone, the mother, and the maiden, with the three age of the cats. So yeah, they'll sometimes give me different or conflicting answers, because oracles and the gods can sometimes go beyond human understanding, and so
And
the cats do that too.
Yeah, what do you do in that case?
Oh, just like the normal human that I am, I try and read the portents and the signs as well as I can, but you never know.
That is pretty hilarious. And talking about hilarious, I have another hilarious story. So when I lived in Florida, I had a dog. I'm an
Mhm.
animal lover. I love all animals. I had a dog
Sure.
and a cat. Okay, and I went to work, and left them there, to do their thing. And then I come home from work, and when you come home from work, they wait at the door and they say hi to you
Yeah.
and whatever. And so I opened the door, and I'm like, nobody there, and I'm like, where's my
Yeah.
dog? Where's my cat? What's going on? Where are they? And I look around, and then finally I realize that the bathroom door was closed, which is not
Oh
supposed to be.
no.
And then so I opened the door, and it was just hilarious. It was definitely a Kodak moment. You know what I'm saying? I opened the door, and there, both of them sit like this, like just looking at me. And the entire bathroom was covered in toilet paper
Oh,
everywhere.
they
They were just like, it was so funny because they didn't run out or anything. They were just sitting there
right.
like, hey, how are you? What's up? We didn't do anything. If you see anything around here, it wasn't us. That was already like that. So we're like, yeah. It was
I
so funny. It just, and then
dogs are bad liars. Cats, they can lie to you and look you and dare you to challenge them, but dogs are the worst liars in the world. They just
yeah,
don't know how to.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It was funny though. It was really funny because you can't even get mad, at you can't get mad in a situation like that. I just really
Yeah.
cracked up. That it was hilarious. I had to go buy more toilet paper, of course, because it was all gone. Yeah. So yeah, cats. Oh, and let's get how much do you know actually about cat history? How they became domesticated? Let's talk about that a little bit.
I can talk about that. I know a bit. I would say Rachel is like the foremost expert, and she's always telling me. But yes, I do know quite a bit about the history too, because it's fascinating to me, how these creatures, which are very non-domestic in a lot of ways. Like cats, unlike dogs, I think still have a lot of feral type traits to them, but
Oh,
also
totally.
they're extremely intuitive creatures and truly understand, I think, human emotion and feel a connection to us, and will like if I have a bad day, my cats will know, even if I'm not saying it, and will run up. And even Kappa will be especially sweet and purr and nuzzle my head. And then on any other day in the same way, she'd just look at me and be like, screw you, feed me, fat man. Like, you know, but they comprehend and understand our emotional state in an almost I don't know, empathetic way, and will come up and know what you need from them, and
Definitely,
sometimes they care.
definitely. I had actually a college paper on cats.
Mhm.
And I wish I had it still, but I lost it somewhere, like losing computers after computers
Sure.
after computers, you lose all your data. I had the best paper ever written on cats, and that included, the history of cats, which begins in ancient Egypt, right?
Hmm.
And so cats were domesticated for the two main reasons: to eat the rats or chase away the
Right.
rats, which obviously was a big deal because they needed the grain and
The
everything to
grain.
survive.
Right.
And also snakes were a big problem back then,
Hmm.
and also the cats took care of the snakes. So, and I don't know if you knew this part, but this is like totally, I totally remember from my papers though, that the pharaoh considered all cats to be his in the country.
Yep.
They were officially his cats. So when you were a cat owner, you basically were, in quotes, the caretaker of his cats, you know, and the
Right.
pharaoh in return, uh, you didn't have to pay taxes if you were a cat owner, because that's how the pharaoh thanked you for your services to taking care of his cats.
Cats. Yeah.
So, which was a big deal. And also, not at the very beginning, but towards, later, I don't know which, BC date it was, but eventually they made, if anybody harmed a cat, you got a death sentence. It was
Mm-hmm.
extremely seriously taken, so you could not do anything with cats. And as a matter of fact,
Yeah.
I read about it that, I don't know if you remember, but some country invaded Egypt. I don't remember right now. I have a short memory. So, but they invaded Egypt, and all the soldiers had cats in their hands, and therefore Egypt, they just were defeated because they would not attack people with cats in their hands.
Wow.
Because
I've never heard that one before. That's
yeah, and
interesting.
I'm kind of trying to think what country it was, and I don't remember. I can't remember. You guys look it all up. Everybody look it all up, okay? It's true. Uh, different types of cats are okay. Oh, I don't know if you know about how many different types of cats there are.
How
It's
many
probably
different
a
breeds?
load.
There are quite a few. I mean, I don't think to the individual level as dogs, but there are a couple of very distinct breeds, and there definitely are people that, yeah, breed particular cats. Some of which are very valuable and costly. Like I know in particular, Sphinx cats, the hairless ones,
Right.
um, are very expensive to get one of those, and they definitely, there's a lot of unique care that goes into those cats in terms of you have to oil them, and
I didn't know that.
because yeah, oh yeah, there's, because I've begged for one many times and wanted one, and Rachel has said, understand that's going to cost you, Ken, about $5,000 to get one, and then once you do, they can't, like another cat, able to like groom their fur in the same way. So you have to, for their skin care, oil them, once a week,
Mhm.
and be constantly bathing them and drying them off with a cloth and all these things. And she goes, so make sure you understand exactly what you're signing on to if you want to drop down $5,000 to get one of those cats.
Of course, that's always a good idea. Don't get cats. And I mean, when I got pets, at the very first time,
Mhm.
I got books on dogs and on cats, and I read the books. I really, really recommend it. If you try thinking about getting a cat for the first time, or a dog for the first time, or any pet, as a matter of fact,
Sure.
educate yourself first, because there are surprises you might not like. And if you
Mhm.
don't like the surprises, then you end up with a pet you don't want, or you have to give away. So, and that's a very, very
Right.
sad issue. And you always educate yourself first. That's because each, and as Ken said, each cat probably requires different care. There's long hair
For different
cats, and
breeds,
short
yeah.
hair cats, and no hair cats, and whatever. And there's actually, I know a cat. I don't know what they called, but they Turkish. I think they bred in Turkey,
Mhm.
and they love swimming. They love
Yeah, yeah. I'm
swimming.
trying to remember what breed that is, but there's those other ones like Russian Blues are another popular cat, or a Scottish Fold. I know is another popular breed of cat. Those ones are really the cute. They're the ones with the kind of crunched over ears. And the Russian Blues have that very thick plush fur, almost like so dense it's like a plush carpet.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
then, of
yeah,
course,
yeah.
Siamese, like Kappa. She's one half Siamese, and they're
Mhm.
very distinct looks. Persian cats, which are kind of, as you said, some of those longer haired.
You better
Cats,
love brushing cats.
if you want to talk about shedding around the house, and yeah, don't get a Persian cat if your entire house is, black carpets and black couches, and yeah, that's a bad move. And as you said, I mean, anytime you're thinking about any pet, make sure that you're doing research to get the right fit for you, and what your lifestyle is.
Absolutely.
Even between the decision to get a cat or a dog or something like that. I mean, one of the things I love about our cats is they're self-reliant. You can be gone for a day and they might scream at me when I get home, but it won't be the end of the world. You can leave a large bowl of water and food out and go away for a day or two, and be all right. With a dog, that's not really true. I mean, a dog needs you to be there constantly, checking in every, 7 hours at minimum to take care of them. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I just saw a comment, but I couldn't see it. So, okay, so
Story to share.
so I would like to share a story. I have a story to share. I've been to a friend's house, and this cat was staring at me and wouldn't move the eyes. Then later on, I found out that she does that when she likes someone. She has to study the person. That's interesting. So yeah, so they literally stare at you like, I'm gonna figure you out. I'm checking you out. Who you are, and I'm making my opinion right now about you. Yeah.
That's one of the things I love most about cats is they do all have such a distinct personality.
Lila.
And the little things like that, like they like to come study someone before they allow, like Kappa, for example, for someone to pet her, there's a distinct ritual, and it's kind of like that. She'll walk up to you, she'll look at the person, you put your hand down, and she'll sniff it to make sure it's clean. And then if she takes her head and headbutts your hand, that means you have permission to pet her. And if she doesn't do that, then you're free game to tear the flesh from your hand because you dishonored her ritual.
Yeah, that's crazy. Lila says, I have 2 cats, Pushpa and TJ. They are 22 and 18-month-old. Oh, thank you for listening. Thank you for listening, Lila. I'm happy you're here with us. And those are still babies, baby cats.
Those are babies.
Yeah. Yeah. So I lost my. So yeah, we were talking about the staring and the.
Yeah.
You have read Garfield. Do you know Garfield the comics? Anybody out there knows Garfield?
I know Garfield the comics. I grew up reading those. Every Sunday they were in the paper. That was one of my favorites.
Those are very hilarious because there's also like when John wants to the cat comes up to John and the kid's like, play with me, come on. And John is like working, and John is like, no, I can't play with you right now. No, leave me alone. And the cat just keeps insisting, play with me. And then John is fine, like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna take a break. Here, I play with you. And the cat is like, I don't want to play with you anymore.
Yeah.
He claws him. That's it's totally funny. Yeah, they're definitely your boss, the cat. Yeah, I'm just hoping. I think I said hi to everybody. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And and I also wanted to touch one more very important issue about spay your cats. I don't know if you agree with me. I'm hoping you agree.
100%.
Please, everybody out there who listens, it is super important to spay or neuter your cats for several reasons. One of the reasons, obviously, is that they multiply very, very fast. And I can tell you that because at one point, believe this or not, I had 11 cats in my house at one point.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
I had 2 cats, and both got pregnant. And they were super young. I didn't think that you can get pregnant that young, but they were like less than 9-month-old and probably around 9-month-old, and they got both pregnant. And then
at once,
my one cat got a litter of 4, and I decided to keep all of them because I just couldn't give them away. That was the first litter I ever experienced. And then they got pregnant before I could even schedule, So anyway, so it just kept going like that.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, it was really, really tough to schedule spaying before they got pregnant. And then, when they get pregnant, you can't do the spaying. So It was like, I really had hard times, but eventually I did. And I'm like, well, but at some point, I had 11 cats in my house.
That's intense.
Right?
That is a serious litter box situation. That is 11 cats in the house.
So luckily I had a big yard and everything. But so anyway, it's super important because they multiply super fast. I mean, and it can get out of control like with me. And trust me, I tried, but it was just like I went to the vet. Oh no, they're pregnant already. We can't do this thing. Like what? And then we have shelters. There's too many shelters, and and many shelters unfortunately kill animals, and we are all aware of that. Luckily nowadays there's many shelters who find places for animals, but unfortunately it's not how it is everywhere right now. So we don't wanna support mass murder of pets, cats and dogs. So it's very, very important that you spay them. And there's another reason. When you don't spay or neuter your cats, and you probably know, you have cats, I know, male cats spray. If you don't neuter them, they spray. And
that is correct.
That's not really, appealing, when you have to like walk behind them and clean the walls and everything, because they literally spray on the wall.
If it gets on carpet or that is a smell that no matter what you do will never go away.
You cannot. You literally have to change your carpet or your flooring if that stuff is on there. You can't get.
Or just burn your house down and move. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, or just burn down your house and move. Exactly, because and then of course if you have multiple cats and they smell that one of the cats sprayed, that's gonna be the spray spot. And and if you have multiple places all over in your place, it's never gonna stop. And the female cats. And with female cats also, they don't roam when they spayed or neutered. Also, the roaming is much, so they stay more closer to home. And I also believe, now don't quote me on that, but I think I read it, that when your female cat is spayed, other feral cats won't fight them because they will not appear more dominant to them. So, because
that makes sense. I've never heard that, but that does make sense.
I think I read that, because if they're not spayed, then they are, what's it called? They are competition, so to say, and then they will fight. But if your cat is neutered, then spayed, then that's not gonna be an issue anymore. So you can keep your cat also a little bit more safe, because they fight. And
yes, they do.
They fight brutally. They're not really like just a slap or something. They fight very brutally, and they can get pretty messed up from a fight. So that's definitely a point I wanted to make about spaying and neutering. So we have what else do you want to add to the conversation?
Yeah, I saw somebody put a story or comment in there while we were talking. And they were talking about what we call making bread. And then after a long day, a cat will come up and give you a massage because they're turning you into the perfect sleeping environment for them. So they'll come up and push their paws into your back or your leg or whatever, like kneading dough. And that's what me and Rachel always call that is, one of the cats is making bread of us again.
That was Lila. Thank you for your comment, Lila. Yeah, she's mentioning then, that she basically tells the cat, hey, I need a massage. Get your butt over here, Yeah. And making, I call them making, what do I call it? Biscuits. I call it
making biscuits. Yeah, Rachel will say that too.
Yeah, that's the motion, making biscuits. Oh, I have a funny story about that too. So I used to have I had two dogs, then my second dog, my first one passed away at that point. My second dog was a Sheltie who I rescued from a shelter. She was 10 years old at the time, super cute, And then I had my cats, right? And so she comes into this household with these cats, right? And then she's in my bedroom, and I see the cat at Shelly was her name, and the cat is doing the biscuits on her, And then Shelly's just looking at me like, oh my God, please help me. I don't know what's happening to me. I don't want to do this, Like she was like literally like, oh, and then the cat is just going at it, like doing the biscuits, It was funny, poor thing, she just couldn't stand it when the cats did that to her. Yeah, totally funny.
No, for us it's Finn, the boy, the middle one that's big on that, and it's for Rachel, and she'll come home after a long day at work and be on her feet all day, and she'll do the same and just say to him, Finn, mommy needs a massage. Come over and give mommy a massage. And he'll come running up, and he'll sit there and do it for 15, 20 minutes just on her back, and then he'll get it just the way he wants, how she's positioned, and then he'll lay down and curl up in a ball and do the vibration purring therapy, which is the next part of the massage.
Yeah, that's good. And you know what? And I read that too, and I'm almost 99% positive that I'm gonna say this correctly, because I read about it that actually cats, I'm not sure about dogs, but dogs might do the same thing. But cats, I definitely know that I read about cats in this article. They can lower your blood pressure. Have you heard of that?
It's true. It's true. And I really do think that and part of this I think is spiritual or what have you, but the purrs of a cat, if you're not feeling well, I think honestly have healing powers. If nothing else, just a positive feeling and a warm energy feeling. But if nothing else, that is a part of healing, is wanting to heal and feeling, better and less anxiety. It really is. I think conducive medically to any ailment. If you are in a better place, you're going to have your body interact with that and start to heal itself too.
Yeah. And you know what? I have to look into that. Actually, it's very interesting to me because I do have a lot of education in energy healing and all that stuff.
Sure.
I wonder what vibration the purring is. I wonder if the purring vibrates somehow in a good frequency that is good for our bodies to heal or something like that. That's an interesting thing to actually look in there. So if you listeners are interested in finding out if we talking nonsense or not, just Google it up and see, because I'm almost I kind of want to think that yes. I kind of want to think that yes, that this is a good frequency, because
I don't think that it's necessarily like a medical treatment or anything like that, but I do think that it does have a positivity, and it makes you feel better. And when you feel better, you start to physically feel better, And I think there's definitely something to that. And I'd like to think that cats know that and understand that, because kind of like I said, if I have a bad day or something and I come home and my cat is there for me to kind of help me out and lift me up just like a person would, I think they also can like if I'm sick and not feeling well and laid up in bed, my cats will know it, or Rachel the same way. And the three of them come surround me and all lay there with me. And it's like they're nursing me back to health in a way.
You're so spoiled. You're totally spoiled.
I'm spoiled. Yeah, I am spoiled and everything, but they do.
I have to lay in my bed and I'm all alone because Dark Gray doesn't really, she likes to be outside. She's not the cat. But when I'm sick, I'm just laying by myself all alone and nobody's taking care of me.
Oh yeah, no, the three of, and a lot of times I'll be grumpy about it because I'm one of those people that's terrible when they're sick and just I want to be by myself and pull the covers up over my head and be alone. And the cats won't accept it, and they'll come up and start purring and headbutting me and I'm like, no, I don't want to feel better. Leave me alone, cats. And but they don't listen, and and I'm like, oh, okay, this is nice. Okay, thank you. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
this is nice. Then you realize it's not a bad thing at all. Oh, you feel nice and soft and warm, and you purr
Yeah,
nicely, and you love me, and I need to be loved, and so
exactly.
it's all good. Yeah, definitely. Do you have any other funny stories? We have about 9 more minutes.
Oh, I have a million funny stories on all the cats.
Can you
All right, I got
can
a
you tell
really
in 9 minutes?
I will. I'll try and do this one in 9 minutes. So when we brought Freya home from the hospital after her procedure, we had her isolated in the bedroom because we didn't want the other two cats to tear her stitches out or have anything happen, while she was going through her recovery. And so she's in the bedroom, and I mean, she's on medicine, she's on drugs like the first few days after surgery for the pain. And after a couple weeks it finally got to the point where we were getting out. But so while the door is shut and she's in there, I go to work finally after a couple days, and this was right before COVID shut everything down. And Rachel the same way. So it was the first day we both had to leave the house at the same time. We were worried about her with the door shut, with the litter and food and everything in
Right,
the bedroom. So Rachel calls me about 15 minutes before my shift ends, and she's upset. Ken, Freya's gone. Freya's gone from the bedroom. I'm like, how can that be? Is the bedroom door shut when you got home? Yes. Well, how did she get out? I don't know, but she's not in there. I've looked everywhere. I'm like, she's just found her way into a drawer or something. She's in there. Everything's going to be fine. And I get done at work. I finish up. I'm heading home. And so I call her and I'm like, have you found her yet? No. So I get home and I'm expecting, I don't know, I'll just find her when I go in there. Rachel just missed her. I tore that bedroom apart and she was nowhere to be seen. So then I start searching the rest of the house, and Rachel is, and she's getting very upset. And I'm starting to get upset at this point because I'm worried, she's very badly injured. She lost a leg. She can't really,
right.
what if she falls down the stairs or something like that?
Mhm.
So I'm looking all over the house, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, what if she went down in the basement? Because that was when she had her four legs. She was the mighty hunter, and she loved to go around down in the basement and try and crawl up on things. And I'm worried, what if she hurt herself? I look down there, she's nowhere there. Then we start thinking, did she get out of the house? So I'm outside and looking, and it was January, last year when this happened. So I'm looking for tracks in the snow or anything because she's a strictly indoor cat too. And so I'm so worried, I'm freaking out. And then I think to myself, wow, what if she down in the basement got into the drywall or something there? Like, because she crawls up on the top of things. I don't know how she could on three legs, but what if she did? So I'm grabbing a sledgehammer. Rachel's crying, not knowing where the cat is, our baby that we just got home from this surgery. I grab a sledgehammer and I'm about to smash the drywall to try and find her because I'm so worried. And as I'm reaching my hand back, an idea pops in my head and I run upstairs. I'm like, Rachel, did you check in the box spring of the bed? And she goes, what? I go into the bedroom. I tear the mattress off. I lift the box spring up. And sure enough, there is a tiny slit in the lace work underneath the box spring. And I look in there and she's been in there sleeping, never left the bedroom the entire time. And she goes, oh, hi, Dad. Hi, how's it going? What are you doing? And I'm like, I put down this sledgehammer. That is the amazing glory and frustration of owning a cat, is that they never understand or assume your anxieties as a person because they are above such petty concerns.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, guys? You guys are totally out of shape. Yeah.
She just started purring and put her hand out, and I think that's the other thing is, when she's healed from all of this, I'm amazed how much of herself she's just fine. Me, I get worried and things like that about her with her leg, but no fear for her, and she is absolutely fine and does everything she did before.
Right. And you know what? I want to, end this show on two notes. First of all, just take an example of the cats. Don't worry too much. Think positive, be positive. Don't live in fear. Just live life, and be cool like a cat. Be cool like a cat. Be cool like
We can learn
Priya.
a lot. Yeah, we can learn a lot from cats,
Yeah.
for sure.
And I also, one more thing, I want to add one more fact from history, just in case people didn't know that. So also in ancient Egypt, when a cat died, the owners shaved their eyebrows to mourn the cat, and that was a sign. So if you saw a guy, oh, this guy doesn't have eyebrows, it means they lost the cat, and they mourned as long as it took for the eyebrows to grow back.
That's fascinating. That's really good stuff.
Yeah,
I
so
might do that. I might do that if it comes up to it.
yeah, you can. I mean, you can
Someday,
start it.
if I do, I'm going to start that trend up again. Yeah.
Start up the trend again. I mean, that was ancient Egypt, and I as much as I know or read about it, they don't really do much anymore. In Egypt nowadays, people, they don't do these odd rituals. So there you go. There's your chance to start the thing up, and
Start
then
the trend. Yeah.
yeah. So it was like also, I think in ancient Egypt they did that because they empathized with the person, because cats were obviously very, very important part of society.
Yes.
They were part of the country, so to say, and so these people like probably got more empathy and more help and support, so they could see, oh, this person lost a cat. So it's super interesting. There's just so much more about this, but yeah, definitely, guys, look up who invaded Egypt with the cats, because I can't remember which country it was. I read about it. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna remember that. No big deal. I'm gonna remember. I should have written it down, but I do this all the time. I see something and then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna remember it. No big deal, and then I don't. So, anyways, but super interesting stuff. I guess the show is coming to an end now. Thank you so much for being here with me again. We did a podcast before. It's very nice.
I'm always happy to talk to you, Szilvi.
Yeah,
it's always great to talk with you.
Well, actually, I wanted to start the show out by saying to you, hey, nice to see you again, but then you were late. And
Yes, I was. I apologize. That was my bad.
You just confused me too much. But anyways, very, very happy that I had this chance to talk to you and see you again, hear your voice. Yeah. You're super cool. Everybody, this is Ken, my friend, awesome person, awesome cat lover. And thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. And next week, I'm going to have Vince Christian with me from the band Die Robot, the local Portland band.
Yeah, and I love Die Robot. Fantastic band.
Die Robot, but we're not going to talk about music because, that's my thing. We're going to talk about aliens on that show. It's going to be all about aliens in movies, aliens in real life. Do they exist? Where are they? Are they aliens? Are they not aliens? It's gonna be fun. And
we could have crossed over these shows because cats might actually be aliens that have been sent to this planet to study us.
There you go.
That's a distinct possibility.
There you go. That's totally it. Yeah, so it's gonna be super fun. And let's see here. Yeah, I think I think that's it for today. I'm just waiting on the commercial, I guess, that's gonna come. And so I say bye to everybody, and please tune in next week. This is all new to me, so it's like all these technical things I didn't figure out yet. It's very, very. I'm used to just hearing my voice and that's it, and so it's very, very new, but obviously we're still on air, so we can talk as long as we see each other.
I was just thinking when you were kind of telling the story about Egypt, the author, the Gothic horror author H.P. Lovecraft, had a story as well that made me think of, called The Cats of Ur. And it was the same kind of thing. It was a city, and no one was allowed. A plague or a horrible thing would happen if anyone was to hurt or kill a cat. And that it went on in this city forever. And I think that's where the inspiration came from, is the story you talked about, where the soldiers all had a cat in one hand. But I think that's where it came from, is when H.P. Lovecraft wrote it, it was based upon that legend or that story about Egypt.
Yeah, it could be, or just the fact that, you know, it was a death sentence to harm a cat.
Right.
So you know they were just like literally like, no, we cannot harm a cat. They gods. They were considered as gods.
Correct.
You know,
and there was Bast. Most of the gods in Egypt were anthropomorphic, and Bast was a cat head goddess. That was one of their gods. So, and she also was in a portrayal of her in the recent American Gods book by Neil Gaiman. One of my favorite authors there, but had a portrayal of Bast in that book. And I think they did her in the television show recently. They did of American Gods as well.
Oh, really? Yeah, cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a topic we could go on and on and on. And I've been said that, you know, it's break time, but nothing is happening. So we just keep chatting until we disappear, I guess, right?
I mean, I can talk about cats forever, you know.
And you know what? Or, you know, the funny thing is, when you told that your cat is like really big, like huge and black and white.
Yeah,
I had a big, huge black and white cat too, and I called. One sec. Yeah, we basically. I was just asked if the show is over. Yeah, basically it is. Yeah, we've been just waiting on you to